Hi everybody, Jill here. Welcome to Keto Living Over 50. Thanks so much for clicking on that thumbnail and joining us today. So as the title has in there, I'm going to share with you sort of my staples. Now this is just a very small sampling of really what I try and mostly do keep in the house all the time. A lot of these are dailies, things that I grab almost every day with the exception of maybe one item. So let's just get to this right away. I always keep heavy cream, organic heavy cream in my fridge. Again, I like to keep 2 at all times. If I see that I'm running low, I will order 1 or 2 more. Why? Because I actually make a lot of gravies. So if I'm going to be having hamburger patties, which I think I'm going to probably do that tonight, season hamburger patties, I do salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, season however you like, if you just like salt and pepper. And then I saute some onions if I'm in the mood for that. And then I will make, with the drippings, a really nice rich gravy with some heavy cream. I usually use fresh rosemary to really season that up. So it is definitely a staple because I like gravies. I like to make just a very rich sort of option there because it keeps me full. It gives me food chi. Just that when you're eating it, you're like, oh, and that's really important. If you are eating and you're not getting some really great joy out of the food you're eating, I don't think this is going to sustain you. I think it's important to replace what used to give you those feelings with keto-friendly options that you will not feel deprived at all, and you'll look forward to your meals. And so simple things like making little hamburger patties, seasoning those up so they taste nice, and then making a good gravy and having that over the top of those, that is one of my favorite dinners, and it's very inexpensive and very, very tasty. I look forward to it. Love. Something else that I always have to have in my fridge is some grated Parmesan cheese. You can do this fresh, which would be probably the best option, is getting a block of fresh Parmesan and grating it yourself as you need it. But either way, I just love Parmesan cheese. I put it on a lot of things. I even add it to my gravy sometimes to give it a punch of flavor and a little thickness. I do use Parmesan a lot. I can use it over vegetables. I use it, sometimes I'll even sprinkle it over steak. I just love it, probably because it's a little salty, but it's a punch of flavor. And I love a lot of flavor in my food. So I always have Parmesan cheese in the fridge. I tend to have a lot of cheese in my fridge, just in case I want to sprinkle some over something and melt it. But this is one that I do have to have in my fridge a lot. This is the Boursin Fine Garlic and Herb. I mean, you've seen me utilize this in a couple food prep videos. I like this because I can, again, punch up the flavor of something and it will keep me full. And for the most part, the ingredients in this is quite clean. It's got pasteurized cultured milk and cream, garlic, salt, white pepper, parsley, and dried chives. And that's all that's in this. So it's pretty clean. It's very clean, actually. Anyway, this just really punches the flavor up. Brings me to this. I always have my organic broccoli from Costco. They come in a big pack, of which inside are several individual packs like this. This is all this is, organic broccoli. They don't add anything else to this, and you steam it in your microwave. If you choose not to use a microwave, you don't have to. It's just fast, it's easy, and that's what I need to be able to be successful. So this is something I never run out of. I always restock when I start getting down to 1 or 2 bags because I use this a lot. And this is something that I'll steam in the microwave, and then when it cools off a bit, I'll drain it, cut it up in littler pieces, and I will just add a block of this in a saucepan or a fry pan, along with this, a little bit of garlic, and this will flavor my broccoli, and it makes for a really great rich side, and it's really tasty. So this is a definite. Now this next item I find is really hard for me to find, quite literally. So when it's in stock, which I order off of Whole Foods through Amazon Prime to have it delivered to my home, and they were out of this for probably a good 3 months. They finally got a little in stock, so they put limits on it, and I order it every time until they run out of stock. So now I have a pretty good, I think I've got 5 or 6 of these in my freezer over a period of ordering. This is Outer Aisle Plant Power Sandwich Thins. Now, I think I shared with you they're larger, sort of like pizza crust size. My son and I prefer these smaller ones. So these don't crisp up. We've tried everything. We've tried everything imaginable to see if we can toast these and crisp them up. They don't. But these are wonderful for if you just want a little sandwich, something to hold something, in. So they make individual pizza crusts, but your imagination can go wild with these. One of my favorite things to have is just a fried egg sandwich with bacon, a little bit of ketchup, little butter on the toast. I haven't had one of those in so long. Obviously, I haven't had one since December last year when I started this, but I think even before then, it's one of my favorite things. I can do that now. I heat these up in the toaster oven. Again, they don't get crispy. Maybe the very edges will, but it gets them nice and warm. And then I put a little butter on this. I fry up 2 eggs. I trim away excess white, the white part of the egg. I just don't like the white part of the egg. And you kind of break the yolk a little bit when you make your fried egg sandwiches, and you cook them on both sides, salt and pepper. Of course, it's best to fry your eggs in the bacon grease. I have 2 pieces of bacon that I have already made. Break it in half, and then I make my fried egg sandwich with a little bit of ketchup. I had that for the first time. Again, these have been out of stock forever, and I just never thought about using these for my fried egg sandwiches that I just absolutely love. These are wonderful. If you want to throw together a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich really quick, these really are wonderful. But good luck trying to get them, because they can be hard to find. And then once you do, it seems like everybody else loves them as well, and they fly. So I've been really lucky lately. So if it were up to me, I would always have those in my freezer because they freeze well. But I try to get them as much as I can. So this is something that I also discovered off of Whole Foods, and I think these are you should be able to find these in other grocery stores, because it's an Organic Valley product, and over here, at least in the West Coast, that's pretty easy to find. I'm not sure how it is anywhere else, but these are called Egg Bites, and this is my favorite one flavor wise. This is the feta and chives. There's 2 in here. You can heat these up in the microwave. I actually prefer to put these in the toaster oven, and I do both of them. And they're just on those rare occasions when I really need a little breakfast in the morning. These are great to find. It's a great find. They're fast. You can have them for lunch. You can take them with you to work, as long as you can stick them in the fridge once you get there and heat them up in their microwave. So they are really a wonderful find to keep in stock for those times when maybe you come home and you're really hungry, because that's when things can be a little sticky. That's when you can teeter and just grab something because you're starving, and your mind will overshadow your clear thinking when you are so hungry. So something like this is easy. It's done very quickly. You don't have to wait long, even if you do it in the toaster oven. So see if where you shop has this, because they're quite nice. So the other thing that I always have in my fridge is these S. Pellegrino mineral water. These are like a seltzer water. There's nothing else added in this other than, for instance, this has it's a flavored mineral water. It's got with natural CO2 added. So, we don't have any calories in here. They don't have any bad stuff. It's just flavored mineral water. Essenza, I think, makes one of the best sources for mineral waters. Anyway, this one happens to be dark Morello cherry and pomegranate. It's one of my favorite flavors. So I always have a flavored one, and then they're plain. And again, this is the Essenza. Why? I don't tend to drink these just plain, but I do grab them at least 2 a day. I'll make my apple cider vinegar. I'll add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to this and about 7 or 8 drops of stevia and sort of stir it up, and that will be my dose of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is definitely a staple, and I have at least 2 tablespoons a day mixed in with the S. Pellegrino. So these are some examples of what I have to keep in my house. And I would say another tip is to always have something thawing out. Think of something, even if it is something you just don't know what to do with and you're not in the mood to think about what sounds good, thaw some protein out. I don't care, you know, a steak or chicken, a hamburger meat. That way, by the time you're ready to cook, whether it's in the afternoon or dinner, you don't have any excuses. You have something that's thought out. And if you're still perplexed as to what to make with it, just fry it up in some good oil, add some seasonings, throw in a bag of broccoli, season that however you want, and you have yourself dinner. That's where things like sprinkling Parmesan cheese on it or making a gravy really quick, you know, you don't have to think about it. You've either got your chicken, again tonight I think I'm gonna have hamburger patties, you're good to go. So I'm going to be today for lunch, I'm gonna have my last, I think I have 1 or 2 little things of the spare ribs, and then I did make butternut squash. That isn't a keto friendly vegetable. It's, you know, pretty high in carbs. It's considered more of a starchy vegetable, but I do incorporate that because it sounds really good to me. There's got to be something in there that my body likes. It could be comfort food. It could be my alternative to potatoes. I don't know. I do tend to have some butternut squash. I only make it one way. It's the only way that is good to me. And have I done that for a food prep? I don't think so. Probably not, because I know it's not keto friendly. But just really quickly, I add, depending on how much you have. I always get the butternut squash that's cubed already through Costco, Whole Foods, something like that. And then I add olive oil and some balsamic vinegar and pepper and salt. And I just put that in the oven, like 425 for about 30 minutes. And it's delicious. It's got a tart, savory, really good. So it is a bit of a comfort food for me. So I tend to have that about once a week or once every other week. Even when I have that, you know, I'm having probably hamburger, or I'll have meatloaf, a keto friendly version, or I'll have some chicken. While I am adding a bulk of carbs there with the butternut squash, it's still on the daily take I'm still good, you know. But this is lifelong for me. This is a way that I need to sustain. And if something like that is what I need to keep me going on this, while, I don't know, some may argue that you're slowing your weight loss doing that, probably. You know, some people feel that if you're hanging out in, say, the paleo world or primal, somewhere in the middle there, you can have potatoes there. You know, you have a little bit of rice. I choose not to do the rice. I choose not to do the potatoes. That will take me down a whole different path. But I do allow myself some butternut squash. I think the macronutrients in squash is quite good. And it's giving me something positive. And I think that's where we need to negotiate with ourselves a little bit. Is it giving you some positive kickbacks there when you consume something that you know may be a little higher on that scale? You know, definitely squash is not keto friendly. I'll just say that. Remember, this is your journey. Your journey is not my journey, and my journey is not your journey. I just hope that through my channel, you're gaining more of a sense of you can do this, and give you a little bit of, you know, pep talks now and again. But it is definitely your journey. What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. You're gonna have people critiquing you, you know. They're gonna want to chime in and why what you're doing right now is probably not the best thing. You should make this choice or that choice. It could be family members, it could be children of yours, I don't know. But ultimately, you know, you want to make this work for you. And you may fall off a little bit, but then you get yourself back going again. Make your mental notes. You know, this worked. I noticed when I had this, it really kind of made me go down a wrong sort of hill there and tumbling, and it was hard for me to get back. So I probably shouldn't do that anymore. It's all a journey as everything else. But just, you know, you don't have to be rude to your family members or friends that are giving you this feedback. But you know, the last thing you want, you don't want to feel like you're failing. You know, many of us that are trying to lose weight, we've done other things, and it made us feel like we failed at that because we went off it or whatever their deal is. So we don't need that negative feeling and that negative headspace. So you just have to say, oh, okay. And then just continue to do an experiment with what works, because ultimately this is sort of a big experiment for you, and it's going to get you more in touch with your body. I'm a very intuitive person. It's how I walk around on this earth. I am quite intuitive. So I do a lot of intuitive eating, and I didn't even know that was a thing until I started seeing it on YouTube. That intuitive eating is a sort of a natural place I think many of us end up going. If you've been on keto, or if you're a really strict paleo person, you tend to sort of evolve there. And once you know there are a group of foods that you absolutely need to stay away from, and don't let your brain talk you into it, because it will try. And it's a fight. It's something you always have to kind of have. It's there. It's going to be there. It's going to try to talk you into doing that. I mean, I can take you to my fridge right now, and my husband has quite a sweet tooth. So in there are my favorite cookies. I'm going to show you these. These used to be my absolutely favorite cookies. They're like butter melt in your mouth with some chocolate on top. I used to dip them in milk. My favorite. So those have been staring me in the face every time I open up the fridge. So I know that my life doesn't do that. I don't do that anymore. That isn't a part of how I choose to be healthier. So I just got to look past them, talk myself out of trying to reason in why it's okay if I have one or two. And you know, that's just, if it's not those cookies, I guarantee you there's something else that I'm looking at that's in there that's sort of taunting me every time I look at it. These staples, for instance, having one of these with some apple cider vinegar is giving me some really good benefits. Learn about apple cider vinegar and how it helps your body to lose weight, and the mineral water keeps your belly full. So if I feel like I'm kind of hungry for something, but I don't need to eat, it may be that I'm thirsty, but I just definitely am not ready to eat yet. This will help. You know, having these staples, you know, in your house is going to help you, and you'll figure out what your staples need to be, your go-tos that will make something really quick or something ultra quick just to kind of get you through that last hour or two before it's time for, you know, dinner or lunch or whatever. The thing to remember is the days are going to go by whether you make good choices or bad choices. So in a month or 2 months or 3 months from now, accumulatively not choosing having a cookie or two is a great thing to celebrate. And those little choices, they are going to be what propels you to being healthier, to the weight loss goals, and those other goals that should also be almost your number one focus. You know, better brain power, less inflammation in the body. You're helping your metabolism to repair, and just becoming a healthier you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get on with my day now. It's not quite time for me. It's about 11:30. I usually don't eat yet. I did have my butter coffee this morning. I did decide to have a little bit of ghee in there today. But yeah, so I'm gonna take a shower, get ready. I need to hop on the elliptical though before I do that. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep going. Bye-bye.